On the day the Carter family collapsed, Daniel Hayes brought me home. For nearly a decade, his care made me feel like the most cherished woman in the city until that night. He came home drunk, and we shared a reckless moment. I confessed my long-hidden feelings, but he mistreated as a scheme to trap him. He scolded me for shamelessness and then announced his engagement to his first love. Everyone expected me to cause a scene, but this time, I chose silence. I quietly terminated the pregnancy and left on their wedding day. When I first learned I was pregnant, I received Daniel Hayes' wedding invitation. The golden letters on the cover stabbed my heart. I crushed a medical report and threw it into the trash. As I turned, a soft voice stopped me. "Daniel, don't touch that, it's not good for the little one to see." Frozen, I couldn't face them, but through the glass reflection, I saw Daniel Hayes and Natalie Reid walking hand in hand. The suit he wore was one I had helped him pick out years ago. My heart ached, almost breaking into tears. Before, the name Daniel belonged only to the two of us. He's the heir of the Hayes Group. Everyone calls him Mr. Hayes, but I was never afraid of him. When we first met, I refused to call him Uncle Daniel or Mr. Hayes. Even though he's 9 years older, I wanted to call him by his name, Daniel. Everyone expected him to be angry, but he only smiled and pinched my cheek, saying, "As long as Eva likes it, you can call me whatever you want." I thought our encounters would be brief, but an unexpected tragedy changed everything. That incident took my parents away and led to the collapse of the Carter family. Those who once called me Eva with affection became strangers, waving dubious bills to pressure me. In my darkest hour, Daniel Hayes appeared, defending me. He said, "Eva, don't be afraid. I'll take you home." From that moment, I wasn't just a Carter daughter anymore. I was Daniel's treasured possession. Though usually stern and reserved, he decorated my bedroom in soft lavender, knowing I feared loneliness. He connected our rooms with a sliding door left slightly open so I'd feel safe. He surrounded me with jewelry and fine clothes, and with tenderness, he supported my world. But all that beauty ended abruptly. One drunken night, he gave me a night I thought was magical. But when I woke, his cold eyes shattered all illusions. "Eva Carter, how could you be so shameless? You disappoint me," he said. He locked the sliding door behind him and proposed to Natalie Reid instead. For years, he did many things for me, but never what I longed for. A real wedding. That night I realized he didn't want to marry me. He never loved me. I was no longer the proud mistress of this house. Natalie destroyed the roses I planted and smashed the wind chimes Daniel had made for me. Sleepless nights were filled with the echo of our broken dreams. That night, I called my great-uncle Carter, who lived abroad, and agreed to inherit his estate. "Eva," he said weakly over the phone, "I don't have much time. I regret not saving the family. I don't ask for forgiveness or for you to care for me in old age. I just hope you can manage the estate after I'm gone." There was nothing left for me here. At first, I hesitated to leave Daniel, but I had become a burden. I wanted to say goodbye properly, but seeing Daniel and Natalie together stole my words. Just as I turned to pack, Daniel called me. It surprised me he hadn't spoken to me like this in ages. "Eva Carter, Natalie wants you to be a bridesmaid at our wedding." It was for Natalie Reid. I forced a bitter smile. "All right, Uncle Daniel," I said. Daniel seemed uneasy just as he was about to respond, but Natalie interrupted. "Not a bridesmaid, a flower girl." "A flower girl?" I thought bitterly. "In her 20s? Ridiculous. Daniel never allowed anyone to treat me this way before." But this time, his gaze left no room for refusal. I nodded numbly, my eyes catching Daniel's ring, a ring I had handcrafted years ago, engraved with mountains and raindrops. I thought he still cared. He had once put aside billion-dollar contracts to care for me, gotten jealous and pinched my cheek when I spoke to other men, and whispered, "Eva, will you stay by my side forever? I will give you everything." Noticing my stare, Daniel frowned, removed the ring without hesitation, and tossed it into the trash. Panic gripped me. Would he see the medical report? "Daniel," I called instinctively. His face darkened instantly. "Eva Carter, watch your identity," he warned. "All right. Don't argue with a child," Natalie teased, tugging Daniel's arm and kissing him. The coldness in Daniel's eyes melted away, replaced by gentleness meant only for her. That tenderness, once mine was gone forever. Natalie smiled at me. Hey kid, come shopping with us later. Daniel added, you have a good eye. You used to help me choose clothes. Can you help with the wedding supplies? I was just a lonely girl living under their roof with no right to refuse. I nodded. Natalie didn't like the driver interrupting, insisting Daniel drive himself. The usually independent Daniel obeyed completely. When getting into the car, Daniel opened the passenger door for Natalie. The safety charm I had embroidered for him was replaced with a new couple's keychain. Natalie wasn't pleased and insisted on a sticker marking her exclusive spot on the passenger's side. Daniel chuckled, the immature remark stirring complex feelings in me. I turned to the rushing scenery outside. Suddenly, a loud crash pierced the air. A car accident. My forehead slammed into the front seat. Pain exploded in my abdomen. Just as I tried to call for help, Daniel shielded Natalie, holding her calm as he called for assistance. I crawled out from the back seat. My stomach hurts, I whispered. Natalie peeked from Daniel's arms. Why do you always find reasons to get hurt? My arm was cut by glass, stitched with 3 stitches. Pregnant women couldn't have anesthesia. The doctor looked nervous, but I felt no pain. A child unloved learns to understand. Seeing my sadness, the doctor comforted me. Fortunately, the baby is fine. Can you schedule a D&C? I asked, not planning to keep it? The doctor asked, puzzled. I cradled my belly. When I entered the family, it was already late. I thought Daniel would take Natalie to watch fireworks. Instead, he waited silently on the sofa for me. Why are you back so late? He asked. There were many people at the hospital. I lowered my gaze to hide the lie. I actually got away with it. I saved some food for Daniel. After he ate, I called Natalie to apologize. I didn't even know what I had done wrong. But since he asked me to apologize, I had no choice but to comply. Sitting across from me, Daniel said coldly, the Hayes family doesn't need you at this table. Eat quickly and clean yourself up. Don't embarrass yourself at the wedding. I wanted to tell Daniel that I would never embarrass him again. In a few days, I would vanish from his world forever. Before I could say a word, he turned and walked away. I tidied the dining table, washed the dishes, and then quietly went back to my room to pack. Everything that belonged to the Hayes family no longer belonged to me. Daniel had given me the best years of my life. Nearly a decade, but it was time to repay that kindness by leaving early, without causing trouble. Still, selfishly, I wanted one last glimpse of Daniel as the groom, to see if he matched the image I had built in my heart. Consider it a farewell to 10 years of silent love. I only wished that he would be happy and forget I ever existed. The day after tomorrow was the wedding. It was also my birthday. Natalie brought me a dress. Sorry you got hurt, she said with a forced smile. I tried to cheer myself up, dressing carefully and putting on the earrings my mother had designed. There used to be a matching necklace, but it vanished after the Carter family collapsed. Daniel once promised he'd do everything he could to find it for me. A loud commotion came from downstairs. Most of the guests had arrived. I couldn't afford to delay, so I hurried down the stairs, lifting my skirt halfway. I froze. This wasn't my birthday party. It was the wedding. Those who once praised me now stood beside Natalie Reed. My face burned with shame. I wanted to explain, but I stumbled over my skirt and fell in front of everyone amidst their jeers. Daniel Hayes quickly approached, and I thought he was going to help me up, but instead, he took off his jacket and threw it in my face. Take off the dress and leave, he snapped. My ankle throbbed badly, and I couldn't rise immediately. His outstretched hand retracted swiftly as he whispered coldly, Ava Carter, my patience is running thin. I choked back tears for the Hayes family. Nights became sleepless. Daniel went to great lengths to plant a vast patch of lavender behind my room. Under the moonlight, the gentle fragrance soothed me. But now the moonlight remained while my heart felt as barren as that flower bed. The evening breeze swept past silently, leaving no trace. When morning came, I went to the hospital alone. The same doctor who treated my ankle checked me over and scheduled a procedure. At that moment, I realized that aside from money, I owed him nothing anymore, not even emotionally. He was the one who made me suffer first. I forced a smile and placed a hand on my belly. Could you come to see me at the hospital? After all, Daniel Hayes is the father of this child. There was a pause before he finally said, I'll come after this meeting. After hanging up, I leaned back and stared blankly at the ceiling. In just a few days, I would quietly vanish from Daniel's world just like this child. The Hayes family was swept up in the whirlwind of wedding preparations. Knowing no one wanted me there, I obediently stayed in my room to recover. On the wedding day, the house buzzed with excitement. Daniel took a brief moment from his schedule to come to my door and lock it tight. "Eva Carter, I'm doing this for your own good," he said, "so Natalie can feel at ease." We locked eyes, and the silence shattered the fragile glass between us. Without hesitation, I left the home I'd known for nearly a decade, boarding a plane empty-handed and detached. Just as the plane took off, the person next to me mentioned shocking news. Daniel Hayes had fled his own wedding. I heard he tried calling right before the ceremony, but no one answered. Panic consumed him. He desperately wanted to return home to check everything, but Miss Reed stopped him after a heated argument. I closed my eyes, pulled the blindfold over my face, and leaned back in my seat, finally able to rest after so long. I dreamed of days long, past days when I leaned on Daniel's affection and ignored the Hayes family's strict rules. I remembered sneaking out to have fun at night. How one time Daniel woke in the middle of the night unable to find me, nearly in tears from worry. When I apologized, he held me tight and whispered, "It's okay, Eva. Just promise me you'll come back." He looked apologetic and said, "I'm a mess." The staff informed me the sir had asked them to apologize to me on his behalf before he passed. "Miss Carter," they said. That title felt foreign after so long. Since coming into the Hayes family, Daniel Hayes had specifically instructed the staff never to use my surname, hoping to erase the distance between us and bring us closer. Back then, who could have imagined we'd one day become the most familiar strangers? We drew a line, and it's all in the past now. There's no use getting tangled in choices that no longer matter. One must always look forward. "Uncle Lee, please take me to pay respects to great Uncle Carter. I have something else I need your help with," I added. "The Hayes family did me a favor, and that favor has been repaid. Let's settle it with money. I know Daniel Hayes doesn't care about the money, I just want to owe him nothing. Once the debt is settled, I can let him go completely." Uncle Lee helped me familiarize myself with the new routines and sent me back to my demanding work. Just as I was settling in, my assistant entered without knocking. "Miss Carter, this document needs your signature." I put down my pen and frowned. He lowered his eyes silently. "I'm sorry for disturbing you. It won't happen again. I'll leave now." I continued flipping through paperwork, rubbing my wrist thoughtfully, suddenly struck by how much my earlier action resembled Daniel Hayes. I realized I couldn't completely forget him after all. Days blurred with meetings and paperwork. The full weight of the company rested on my shoulders, leaving little time for the past. That day, my new assistant informed me an important client was coming. I didn't ask questions and was led to the conference room. As I stepped in, I saw that familiar face, bathed in bright sunlight yet shadowed with gloom. "Mr. Hayes, this is our new Miss Carter. Don't be fooled by her youth. She's decisive and truly formidable." His eyes held a flicker of surprise mixed with something unreadable. I faced reality and started calling him Uncle Daniel, drawing a clear line between us. My love for him ended that night, and my feelings stopped at his wedding. Now, we are nothing more than business partners. I should call him Mr. Hayes. It's the only way for Mr. Hayes and Miss Carter to maintain a good relationship. "That's great news about the contract," my assistant said, noticing the tension between us and smiling to ease the awkwardness. Daniel motioned for everyone to leave, and soon it was just the two of us in the room. At that moment, a heavy sadness surrounded him. He looked at me helplessly and said, "Eva, I've been searching for you for so long." I said nothing. Instead, I quietly made him a cup of tea, just like I used to when he was troubled. Daniel took the cup, his hand trembling slightly. "The wedding's been called off." I stared at him in surprise. He lowered his gaze and whispered, "I regret it." That day, my heart shattered into pieces. I expected you to leave the moment I closed the door and didn't see you anymore. It felt like my whole world had collapsed. I couldn't focus on anything. I just kept searching for you. Someone said they spotted you abroad. At first, I didn't believe it, but I had to check. And unexpectedly, you really were there. Daniel was usually good at hiding his emotions, but this time, His sorrow was undeniable. I didn't understand why he was so deeply hurt. Mr. Hayes, I've grown up now. You have your own family, I said quietly. I thought about the brooch I used to leave by his door, hoping he'd see it as soon as he stepped out. But that door, which once linked us, unexpectedly became a barrier cutting off everything between us. For nearly a decade, whenever Daniel angered me, I would retreat silently to my room to avoid him. To make amends, he'd leave small gifts at my door: cakes, cookies, jewelry. Opening that door was my way of signaling willingness to reconcile. I never imagined that one day, that door would no longer open. Ava, one day, you will come back to me, he said softly. Without looking back, I turned and walked away, just as he had done to me back then. Afterwards, Daniel began appearing more often, finding excuses to be near me. Sometimes we didn't exchange a single word all day. I worked at my desk while he sat across on the sofa. Suddenly he said, Ava, it feels like we're back in the Hayes family. You were younger then, and you'd be upset if you couldn't see me every time I was busy. Before I could respond, the office door slammed open. Natalie Reed walked in, her eyes fixed on me with a mixture of surprise and scorn. So it really is you. She laughed coldly. I just wanted to see what kind of woman could make him so obsessed, and the answer is you. Natalie's voice grew louder, almost shouting. I am his wife. I am Miss Hayes. What are you? Why is your life so easy as an orphan? Why does Daniel Hayes pamper you so much? Why can't I be like you? Natalie Reed angrily threw her bag down, unable to hold back her words. Don't you feel disgusted by this? You're his uncle, Daniel. Don't think I don't know you're only here to replace her. I don't like red dresses. I don't like lavender, I said quietly. Those are all things she liked. I only like you. Natalie sneered. Since you choose to deceive yourself, why not keep going? I looked at Daniel Hayes in shock. He answered everything with silence. I gave a bitter smile. Does he really love me? How could he after all the humiliation and neglect I endured? So, I can only keep you by my side in another way. I slapped Daniel sharply, but my heart felt strangely calm. Mr. Hayes, from now on, I owe you nothing, I whispered. Ava, I'm sorry, he said softly. I just ask that you don't hate me. I met his deep, sorrowful eyes. Once, I wanted to lose myself in that gaze, to be with him for a lifetime. But now, tears had formed an ocean between us, and we were destined to be separated on opposite shores. I don't hate you, I said. I just want to leave you, to forget you. Kneeling on the ground, he looked confused. Why didn't you tell me? He asked, lifting his head. Tears washed away the blood at the corner of his mouth. Struggling to hold back his emotions, his voice was full of sadness. That day, when you asked me to go to the hospital with you, it was actually Ava. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I really didn't know. I gently pushed away the hand that gripped the edge of my clothes, a hand that had accompanied me for nearly a decade. It had once saved me from despair, and now it pushed me away. Daniel Hayes left with Natalie Reed, leaving behind only that brooch and the earrings. The bloodstains in the office were quickly cleaned up, and all the memories of the past vanished without a trace. My work with Hayes Corporation went on as usual, but I never saw Daniel again. Later, I heard Natalie Reed had gone mad and was sent to a mental hospital. The once talented and arrogant Daniel Hayes inexplicably changed overnight. He became cold and distant. After that, I began to thrive with the Carter family.